At on. Who else, man? Huh? Sauce the boss, man. Of course, Sauce. At on. Who else, man? Huh? Sauce the boss, man. Of course, Sauce. At on. Who else, man? Huh? Sauce the boss, man. Of course, Sauce. At on. Who else, man? Huh? Sauce the boss, man. Of course, Sauce. At on. Who else, man?
About you, and it's no one else like you is what they're getting. Positive vibes only. Shout out to King Saul's boss in the build about you, and it's no one else like you is what they're getting. Positive vibes only. Shout out to King Saul's boss in the build about you, and it's no one else like you is what they're getting. Positive vibes only. Shout out to King Saul's boss in the build about you, and it's no one else like you is what they're getting. Positive vibes only.
6-year-old Randall
Shout out to
Bird
King
was
Saul's
caught
boss
doing
in the build about you, and it's no one else like you is what they're getting. Positive vibes only.
At the Banner University
Shout out to
Medical
King
Center in
Saul's boss in
Phoenix.
the
Randall's
build
job was
about
to
you, and
bring
it's
deceased bodies to the hospital's morgue and slip them into the freezer. But during his shift, coworkers walked in on him and caught Randall inside the freezer with his zipper down, his uniform looking messy, and a body bag open. He was seen almost on top of the 79-year-old deceased woman, and when the workers walked in, he quickly tried to cover the body. The workers said that Randall looked so sweaty and nervous when they caught him, and his excuse was that he had a medical emergency and he almost passed out. His coworkers did not believe a single word and reported the incident. When Randall was interviewed by police a few days later, he basically just said the same story and said that he couldn't remember much of what happened. But not long after, investigators found his DNA on the woman's body, which proves that Randall was in fact doing what we all assumed. He was arrested and now faces multiple charges.
Scary facts you wish you never knew.
Scariest mythical creatures in the world. From Japan. Tick tick. From Puerto Rico. Chupacabra. From the ocean. Cthulhu. From Arizona. Skinwalker. From the ocean. Mermaid. From Canada. Wendigo.
Here's some things we were taught growing up that just aren't true. Piranhas, in fact, will not just gobble you up the second you step into the same water as them. They only go after like dead things or if you have an open wound. In fact, there have been a total of 0 recorded deaths via piranha. Dogs' mouths are not cleaner than humans' mouths. I feel like this is common sense. Have you seen the shit that dogs eat? A simple Google search will tell you that this isn't true. Lie detectors don't detect lies. They detect if you're stressed, which could mean you might be lying, but it's not a real indication. It's not accurate at all. Fish have memories, pretty good ones too. They can remember faces and sounds and other fish for up to months at a time, which is better than most of you guys. There was this one study where a catfish was actually able to remember the sound of a human announcing like it's food time up to 5 years after it first heard it. Being cold is not going to increase your likelihood of being sick, okay? Humans made this correlation because when it's cold outside, we tend to go inside, huddle up all together with other humans where more germs can spread around.
These facts are guaranteed to blow your mind. Humans are the only animals on Earth that like spicy food. Potato chips are responsible for the most weight gain out of any other food. The average termite can live over 100 years. By chewing gum after a meal, it reduces your chance of heartburn. Dogs can sniff.
Disturbing facts that will ruin your day. Firstly, you know these vacuum toilets that are most commonly used on planes and cruise ships? Well, there have been many reports of them sucking the rectum out of people when they flush. Next, this is just disappointing. 1 in 4 Americans actually believe that the sun rotates around the earth. Now, studies show that the average person will wait 5 months of their lifetime for red lights to turn green. You know when you're watching a movie or TV show and you hear these laugh tracks in the background? Well, most of them were recorded in the 50s, so you're hearing dead people laugh. This will ruin your childhood. The Red Power Ranger, Ricardo Medina, pleaded guilty to killing his roommate with a sword. Finally, you are now closer to death than you were when you started this video.
How rare is your body? Let's find out. About 80% of people have stretch marks, and tons of different things can cause these, like pregnancy, weight gain, growth spurts, weightlifting, etc. Anything that stretches the skin. And new stretch marks usually start out as bright red, but will fade to a light pink or white over time. Only 5% of adults have never had chickenpox. Most people who have had chickenpox will be immune to chickenpox for the rest of their life. However, it remains inactive in nerve tissues and can reactivate later in life, causing shingles. Only about 2% of people have something called aphantasia, and this is a phenomenon where you're not able to visualize imagery in your head. And this is a little example where if you're asked to visualize a red square and you close your eyes and think, what do you see? A red square, slightly, or do you see nothing? Only 3% of people have something called scoliosis, which is just an unnatural curve in your spine, and doctors still don't know what causes the main type of scoliosis.
The most uncomfortable products ever designed. Firstly, this Cinderella car seat was designed to make children quieter in the car, and it looks normal when there's a small child in it. But as they get older, you have to adjust the headrest. And to do that, it ends up stretching her neck like this. This Minion shampoo bottle looks like it would be good for kids, but for the strawberry scented one, they decided to make it bright red, so it looks like blood is coming out of his eyes. Next, a Spider-Man tissue box sounds like a good idea, and we all know the main Spider-Man pose. But whoever decided to put that on a Kleenex box clearly didn't think it through, because it looks like you're pulling tissues out of Spider-Man's butt. Lastly, in the children's hospital, they tried making a pathway that looks like a red ribbon, but instead it looks like a path left by someone dragging a bloody body.
Disney facts that you didn't know. Over 80% of the plants in Tomorrowland are edible, and it used to be 100% of the plants were. There's kale, artichokes, lemons, and a lot of different fruits and vegetables, and even herbs and spices. You are never more than 30 steps away from a trash can at any point in any Disney park. The American flags that Disney flies are fake. A lot of them are missing a star or a stripe, so they don't have to follow the codes of flying at half-mast and taking them down. A one-day ticket to Disneyland in 1955 cost $1. But on top of that, rides did have a fee of about 25 to 35 cents. There is no gum sold inside any Disney parks in order to help keep the parks clean. Since Disney World opened, adults have lost over 1.6 million pairs of glasses. And on top of that, every year they find over 6,000 cell phones and 3,500 cameras.
Something that we have not talked about yet is mermaids. Are they real? Is there any proof of them? Let me tell you. While digging deep on the internet, I found this following video that I'm about to show you. Now, it's very busy and loud, so you need to focus to see what I'm trying to show you. As you can see, we could very, very clearly see a hand of a person that's attached at the knuckles, violently fighting to get out of the net that they were caught in. You don't just catch humans in the water. Now look at this hand. This is what scientists think the hands of mermaids look like. And now I'm going to show you the hand from the video, and you can see that they're the same. Not to mention, there are a lot of pictures of dried up mermaid skeleton that are unexplained. Now, what we technically think mermaids are beautiful women and men who swim around all day and sound magical and just safe, happy creatures. But that's not what people think it is. They're thought to look weird, alien-like. And when they make sounds, they screech, they don't sing. They're scaly all over, not just their tail. And they're just overall harsh, evil creatures. I personally believe they exist because 70% of the sea is undiscovered. So how do we think we know they don't? Tell me what you think.
We've made it to part 80 of some of the creepiest submechanophobia things I've ever seen in my life. Why do they keep doing things like this? This is the Awakening statue, and it's in Maryland. This is how big it is for scale, just in case you were wondering. It used to be at this little park area until they moved it to the beach, really close to the water. You can go down there and touch it and visit with it, but when it floods, because that place is pretty common for flooding. It is almost completely underwater, and it looks like this gigantic giant is sprouting from the earth. No. Dang, for free? But yeah, that's what it looks like where it is now. And the water, whenever the tide gets really high and it floods a little bit, this thing goes from like normal scary to absolutely get me the heck out of here. I hate this. No, that's what it looks like. Would you be able to go anywhere near that thing when it's flooded or when it's not flooded or any way that it is? I would not be able to even look at it from far away. I would cry. It is made from aluminum, which makes it a little less scary. I can just look at it like a big soup can.
Why is no one talking about this mannequin and its creepy backstory? This is La Pascualita. The mannequin has been in the window of this Mexican bridal shop since the 1930s. Now look, mannequins weren't even that detailed back then. Customers noticed that you could see fingernails, eyebrow hairs, and veins on the mannequin. By the way, we're making a Reese's milkshake. Out of all three of these flavor ice creams, which one has to go? Vanilla, chocolate, or strawberry? Comment down below. I want to see if y'all got good taste or not. Now back to the story. Yo, this is where it gets crazy. The owner of the shop had a daughter named Pascuala. And in the 1930s, she was going to get married. So of course, being the owner of a bridal shop, the owner went all out for her daughter, buying her the best dress and setting up everything. Sadly, a scorpion had gotten the daughter's dress, and she sadly didn't survive the sting. People say the exact next day, a mannequin appeared at the front of the shop, and she looked strangely similar to the daughter. Even the dress looked similar. Aw, snap. Look at that. Woo, sweet baby diabetes. They believe the owner did not want to lose her daughter, so she dipped her in wax to preserve her forever. Do you think this is the shop owner's daughter? And make sure to hit that follow, because tomorrow's story is insane compared to this one.
Scariest urban legends from every US state. This shows some of the most popular urban legends from every single state across the USA. And as you've probably guessed, in this series, we're going through all of them, from the most normal ones to the really dark, disturbing ones. So let's kick off part 2. Oh, this is creepy. So the legend goes, a long time ago in New York, in a children's hospital. Children would be in this hospital, and at night, obviously, they'd basically just be left alone. The legend was about someone called Cropsy. Cropsy has a hook for a hand and lurks around at night in the children's hospital. He stalked and unalived these people who he found walking in the corridors at night. Apparently, everybody who goes to camp in upstate New York knows about this legend, so let me know if that's true. This is where things get even more disturbing. A documentary was posted which basically confirmed this was real. Convicted killer and kidnapper Andrew Rand. That's him there in the middle, and it was real. A follow button, it's going to get crazy, and let me know which state you're from.
Facts that will blow your mind. Humans are the only animals that enjoy spicy foods. Potato chips cause more weight gain than any other food. It's impossible to hum while you hold your nose. The least interesting day in history was April 11, 1954. Aldous Huxley and C.S. Lewis died on the same day as JFK. Bigger forks lead you to eat less. The longest living insect is the termite. Chewing gum after a meal reduces heartburn. Dogs can smell cancer. Bees can detect bombs. Follow and comment below which fact blew your mind.
Around the world. Today we'll be looking at something called the Yaramayahu of Indigenous Australian mythology. The Yaramayahu are described to be small frog-like humanoids that have reddish skin. They sit up in the trees and wait for somebody to walk by. They'll jump down and consume the victim's blood like a vampire, and then after consume the entire victim and go to sleep. They will then regurgitate the victim and repeat the process of consuming them. Eventually, the victim will turn into a Yaramayahu. If you're walking around in Australia, make sure you keep your eyes up on the trees.
Let's talk about another one of the most interesting and terrifying Japanese urban legends, Tsukima Onna, or the Girl in the Gap. If you've ever been alone in a room and still felt like something was watching you, it was probably Tsukima Onna. This Japanese spirit is said to live between the gaps of physical objects, for example underneath furniture and in between the cracks of open doors. Basically anywhere that there's a little bit of space. Some people say this is also a metaphor for her living between two worlds, the human world and the spirit world. It is best to avoid interacting with her if you think that she's hiding in your room, because if you lock eyes with her, she will ask you if you want to play a game of hide and seek, and if you lose the game, she will drag you back down to hell with her. Unfortunately, the only way to get rid of her is to beat her at her own game. Otherwise, you will always feel as if she's watching you for the rest of your life. Press share, copy link, follow for more, and comment what country I should do next.
Disturbing facts you wish you never knew. You have tiny skin mites that come out at night and do the thing on your face. A 10-second kiss on the lips can pass on 80 million bacteria, some unknown to scientists. Good thing you don't have to worry about that. Certain kinds of tumor called teratoma can cause your body to grow teeth and hair around it. When Eskimo babies have colds, their mother sucks the snot out of their nose with their mouth. Yummy. People who stay up at night are more likely to become psychopaths compared to those who sleep early. So please go to sleep now.
Question that has long plagued police is, what do we make of the McGrady tapes? So back in 2001, at a Blockbuster in McGrady, North Carolina, a car drove by in the parking lot and just dropped a tape outside of the building. So employees saw that and they went outside to get the tape and they were like, who would drop a tape off like that? Until they looked at it and they noticed something was wrong. This was the tape that was recovered from the parking lot and it was completely unlabeled. According to the story, they took it to the back room where they were able to play it back, and this was the footage they found. It is a 40-minute video of a person's face looking under what looks like a bathroom stall, and it's completely silent, like straight uncut 40 minutes of this and the cameraman just breathing heavily while they videotape this. Management turned the tape over to police, and the strangest part is that a search canine signaled that the tape had traces of human decomp on it. To this day, whoever's behind the McGrady tape is a mystery.
Scariest things caught on camera.
If you're interested, get comfortable and let's go. Humanity has long been looking to the stars, yet we have not answered the question of whether there is life beyond Earth. For millennia, we have been lonely in the universe, and we are trying our best to go beyond to explore the unknown. Without hints, we wouldn't be asking this question. There are evidences that aliens visited Earth. Some even believe that their intervention was necessary for the construction of grandiose, ancient structures. Recent history reports unidentified flying object sightings, sparking debates, investigations, and endless speculation. While many anomalous phenomena have practical explanations, the sky is full of unidentified objects, such as airplanes, atmospheric phenomena, or satellites. the scientific community remains steadfastly skeptical until the first empirical evidence appears. Several scale projects, such as the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, SETI, are dedicated to the search for intelligent life beyond Earth. On this blurry photo, you can see two gentlemen on horses, and underneath them in the middle, a small creature with a huge head. Yes, your feelings are understandable. For some reason, photos that have something strange on them always turn out to be grainy or blurry. I think so too. But conspiracy theory supporters claim that the photo shows a real alien, to which skeptics argue, it's just a toddler caught under the hooves of horses, running alone on a road in the forest, which is a common thing in Chile. Judge for yourself and make your own decision. An intriguing discovery was made in Wyoming in 1932. Gold miners in the San Pedro Mountains, during a blast at the cliffside, found a small sealed chamber, and inside it a strange, mummified figure only about 25 centimeters tall. The figure, sitting cross-legged, presents a mysterious sight. Its skull is of a flattened shape, its species is unclear, and its origin has sparked numerous hypotheses. The mummy could be either an ancient native or a representative of a tiny humanoid race, simply read, an alien. Analysis revealed sharp teeth and a fully formed adult human skeletal structure. Leading experts concluded that the mummy was more likely an adult than a child with abnormal deviations. How then to explain its small size and unique appearance? Many continue to believe that this mummy is actually the remains of an extraterrestrial being. What do you think? Is it completely impossible or absolutely incredible? A 40-centimeter-long human finger was discovered in Egypt, and it seems not all the secrets of ancient Egyptian civilization are lost to the past. Photos taken by a researcher named Gregor Spohr in 1988 resemble images of a human finger, if not for the size. If we calculate the scale of the person, the owner of this finger would have been about 5 meters tall. An untidy nail adds credibility to this intriguing artifact. Who knows, maybe such a giant existed in the past. After all, the tale of Gulliver was written. The photographer himself paid $300 for the opportunity to photograph the relic from a tomb. And it is impossible to verify the authenticity of the super finger because it is now in someone's private collection. The next photograph at first glance does not seem strange, but as soon as we look at the faces of these girls, we notice how strange they are, as if they are someone's failed experiment or just ordinary mannequins, photographed near the pyramids. Do you think this photo is genuine or was Photoshop used? Write in the comments and let's move on. A quite intricate device was discovered at the site of an ancient shipwreck near the Greek island of Antikythera in 1901. Damaged remnants of an old mechanism that, upon research, turned out to be a primitive analog computer. This device served as a reminder of dates, calculated positions of celestial bodies, and performed computations involving significant numbers, such as upcoming solar and lunar eclipses, as well as the Olympic Games. A total of 82 fragments were extracted and identified, with only 7 helping to ascertain the purpose of the device. Dating back to the 1st or 2nd century BCE, this ancient Greek mechanism was a system of interconnected gears, set in motion by turning a handle, which then rotated other gears. It resembled a wooden box with bronze panels and dials on both sides. We can be certain that even back then, people possessed an advanced understanding of astronomy. They could predict celestial phenomena and track the movements of heavenly bodies. Such technological complexity is not typically associated with ancient societies, even Greek ones. This reveals a gap in our understanding of the knowledge of ancient civilizations and an underestimation of their technological achievements. Who knows? Perhaps geniuses like Archimedes of Syracuse or Hipparchus of Nicaea had a hand in these ingenious creations.
YouTube ads is made for your business. Bring your brand to life with targeted video ads.
Polish book dealer Wilfred Voynich acquired this enigmatic manuscript in 1912, a 15th century script book resembling a codex filled with mysterious illustrations and text in an unknown language. This manuscript has confounded the brightest minds worldwide. It features captivating botanical illustrations, astronomical diagrams, depictions of bathers, and pharmaceutical images. However, it doesn't correspond to any known astronomical, botanical, medical chronicles, or textbooks. Moreover, many of the depicted plant species remain unidentified and do not resemble any known earthly plants. The astronomical charts also baffle. Neither constellations nor planetary systems align with any modern understanding. The manuscript became a subject of discussion and was eventually deemed an alchemical document or speculative fantasy of its time, possibly a pharmacopoeia. Despite numerous decryption attempts, the manuscript's text and the meanings behind its peculiar illustrations remain an unsolved puzzle, inviting us into a world of intrigue, secrets, and perhaps the whims of an unknown alchemist. People from all over the world come to Florence to the Palazzo Vecchio Museum to see the famous painting Madonna with Saint Giovannino, which was created in the 15th century by the artist Domenico Ghirlandaio. However, it's not just because of its beauty or historical value. There's something both eerie and captivating about the painting, a mystery from the past or the future. As we know, in those times, there couldn't be random brushstrokes on a canvas. Every tiny detail either served as an allegory or conveyed a specific message. So in the upper right corner above Madonna, in the sky, you can clearly discern a disc-shaped object. And in the distance on the shore, there's a person with a dog gazing at this object. Thus, this is not a coincidence or a fly. The enigma lies not in the main subject of the painting, but in the secondary details. If you look closely, you'll notice a bright golden light emanating from the object. The man with the dog seems to be shielding his eyes, possibly from the intense brightness. The shape and the radiance of the object have led some observers to speculate that it's an unidentified flying object, and the painting might be a historical record of extraterrestrial existence. The depicted light also emits a kind of otherworldly, mystical signal. Skeptics argue that the depiction of a deity, possibly an angel or the Holy Spirit, might also carry an element of magical radiance, such as the image of the Star of Bethlehem or a miraculous sign in the heavens. Despite these interpretations, the exact meaning of the strange object in the painting remains unknown, and the painting itself continues to be a highly valuable mystery. Sometimes, doubts about the authenticity of historical photos can arise, and here's an interesting example. A photograph that was bought for $2 in a souvenir shop in 2010. The photo, presumably taken in 1870, depicts the legendary outlaw Billy the Kid. The Kid. There are many chronicles about this historical criminal, but only one authentic photo exists, showing Billy the Kid and his gang, the Regulators, peacefully playing croquet in the company of their ladies. If the second photo had turned out to be genuine, it would have become the second and last, potentially worth millions of dollars. Establishing its authenticity was a challenging task, and facial recognition software revealed a match between the person in the portrait and the figure playing croquet. However, doubts persisted. The scene of the game somehow doesn't align with the Wild West bandits' lifestyle. Undoubtedly, the photograph garnered tremendous interest from historians and the general public alike, becoming the subject of a National Geographic documentary film. In 2010, an intriguing photograph from the early 1940s once again sparked debates and speculations. In 1941, during the opening of the South Forks Bridge in Goldbridge, British Columbia, a crowd gathered, which is natural for such a significant event. However, even without careful scrutiny, it's evident from the picture that one figure stands out conspicuously from the crowd, as if the character got the era wrong. He was dubbed the time-traveling hipster. He is dressed in modern clothing, including a logo t-shirt, a hoodie, and sunglasses, all of which are remarkably out of place for 1941. Moreover, he seems to be holding a modern camera in his hands, adding another layer of mystery to the photo. Skeptics offered reasonable explanations. Yes, sunglasses could have already existed. The logo on the t-shirt could be from a Montreal hockey team. The sweater could have been a contemporary item available in the 1940s. As for the camera, it could have been a Kodak, a compact folding model that, although rare, did exist. The photo presents a curious contradiction, making us start to think about countless books and movies about time travel. What if this isn't just science fiction or fantasy? The time-traveling hipster remains an enigma. Whether it's someone's clever prank on a historical photograph, a genuinely ultra-fashionable character, or an optical illusion. What do you think? And again, the time traveler. Sometimes the most intriguing mysteries manifest in ordinary circumstances, like the story of an undated photograph from the 1930s. In the photo, we see beachgoers on the shores of British Columbia in Canada. Among the typical beach attire of that era, only one person stands out, generating bewilderment with their appearance of a contemporary surfer. Could this also be a time traveler? The young man in question appears to be wearing a modern graphic t-shirt, swim shorts, and his hair is tousled, reminiscent of hairstyles from the late 20th century. This is clearly not the fashion typical of the 1930s. Skeptics abound, and they have debunked the myth of a future visitor. They assert that the t-shirt and shorts are rolled-up sweater and trousers, acceptable for a hot day at the beach, and his modern hairstyle could be wind-blown or simply wet hair. This photograph continues to provoke debates and assumptions, and despite logical explanations being present, some still want to believe it's a surfer in time, catching a retro wave. One of the most perplexing photographs in recent history was taken during a serene family outing in 1964. Jim Templeton, a firefighter, photographed his young daughter in a field near Solway Firth, along the Irish Sea's western shores in the UK. When the photo was developed, an unexpected figure appeared in the background, resembling an astronaut in a spacesuit. It appears that a tall figure in a helmet or cowl and white attire is turned away from the camera. Templeton claimed that no one else was present in the frame when he took the shot. The film was even examined by Kodak experts and police photographers who found no evidence of tampering. Skeptics dismissed it again, suggesting that the astronaut was actually Templeton's wife, accidentally caught in the frame. Her blue dress might appear white in the photo, and the helmet could be a whimsical occurrence of her hair in the shot. The photo became the subject of numerous TV shows and documentaries, as well as fuel for speculation about aliens, time travel, and otherworldly beings. The world map created in 1513 and named after its creator, the Ottoman explorer and cartographer Ahmed Muhiddin Piri, attracted attention with its detailed depiction of various parts of the world. Europe and Asia, Africa, both Americas, the Azores and Canary Islands, Atlantic Islands, Japan, and even the boundary lines of the eternal Antarctic ice, which was quite unbelievable. If that's the case, someone mapped Antarctica centuries before its discovery in 1773. In 1513, European knowledge of the New World was still rudimentary, yet this map portrayed geographic features with an unprecedented level of accuracy for that time. For instance, it depicted the coastline of Antarctica without considering the eternal ice. The last time Antarctica was free of ice was about 34 million years ago. Who could have known the detailed contours of the continent's landmass? How could Peary have had access to such information? Although the map is believed to have been compiled from various sources, including ancient knowledge, could it have been based on insights from lost civilizations? Skeptics suggest that the depiction of Antarctica might be speculative, and the detailed rendering might simply be meticulous artistic license. Mariners of that era expressed their perceptions of the world rather than its actual outlines. Nonetheless, the Peary Race map continues to puzzle researchers with its remarkable precision. Perhaps our distant ancestors knew much more about our planet than we do? In 1889, Workers were drilling a water well in Nampa, Idaho, and stumbled upon a tiny clay figurine at a depth of around 300 feet. The artifact was named the Nampa figurine. The female figurine appears to be a handcrafted souvenir, a traditional example of early civilization's creativity. But here's the catch. The depth at which it was found corresponds to geological layers dating back approximately 2 million years ago, well before the appearance of humans on Earth. The region was considered uninhabited during that time. What ancient civilizations could have existed here? Conventional science refers to it as a drilling-induced anomaly, or a more recent artifact that somehow got sucked into deeper layers due to unknown natural processes. The Nampa figurine remains an intriguing enigma in the archaeological community. Archaeologists often discover objects that challenge our understanding of the world, and these perplexing finds usually bring about more questions than answers. These enigmatic discoveries are exemplified by figurines found at the Al Ubaid site in Iraq, predating even the Sumerian civilization. The figurines, dated from the 6th to 4th centuries BCE, have humanoid forms but display distinct reptilian features: elongated almond-shaped heads, serpent-like eyes, and scaly skin. Some figurines even depict humanoid lizards engaged in everyday activities like caring for infants or managing servants. Imagine a lizard nanny. The origin of the Ubaid culture, like the Sumerian, remains unknown. It is believed that this civilization began in the same region, ancient Mesopotamia, in present-day Iraq. Besides reed harvesting, fishing, and farming, they had a developed culture and architecture, including monumental structures. Yet their true purpose remains elusive. Even if they partially associated humans or deities with birds or reptiles, we can only infer that some of their gods emerged from the sea, while others had celestial origins. These stone spheres are hidden deep in the rainforests of Costa Rica, at the mouth of the Diquis River, and they have intrigued archaeologists and researchers. For centuries, these perfect spherical stones, ranging in size from a few centimeters to over 2 meters in diameter, have captured imaginations and prompted countless speculations about their origin and purpose. While the exact formation process remains a mystery, one thing is clear. They were crafted with such precision that they have baffled experts who are trying to understand how ancient civilizations achieved such symmetrical perfection. The spheres are made of a type of igneous rock called granodiorite, similar to granite, a not-so-soft material. This fact makes the creation even more impressive, and its purpose remains an enigma. There are theories that the spheres were used for astronomical or religious purposes. Alternatively, they might have served as navigation landmarks or territorial boundaries. Another hypothesis suggests that they might have been inherited from a lost ancient civilization, or even have extraterrestrial origins.
Shout out to Sauce the Boss, of course, man. Who's in the building, man? Shout out to Sauce the Boss, of course, man. Who's in the building, man? Shout out to Sauce the Boss, of course, man. Who's in the building, man? Shout out to Sauce the Boss, of course, man. Who's in the building, man?
About you, and it's no one else like you is what they're getting. Positive vibes only. Shout out to King Saul's Boss in the building. About you, and it's no one else like you is what they're getting. Positive vibes only. Shout out to King Saul's Boss in the building. About you, and it's no one else like you is what they're getting. Positive vibes only. Shout out to King Saul's Boss in the building. About